Hi, I'm Mike Peterson from Brown Harris Stevens. The Hamptons runs on relationships, and over the years, I've built a network of top-tier professionals who operate at the highest level. Mic Hamptons is your access point to that world, the people, the insights, and the opportunities behind it all. Hi, welcome to another episode of the Mic Hamptons podcast. This is powered by the HNG Networking Group. Hamptons Networking Group you can find us online, hngli.com. We're a group of about 30 folks. All the individuals in the group are a variety of different services. On the real estate seat, we have an accountant, we have attorneys, builders, CAD design, and most importantly, we have a funding guy. So I would like to introduce Dan Cowan, who is from Hartford Funding, and it is a pleasure to have you here today.
Appreciate you having me on, Mike. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, thank you for having me. And yes, it's been a great group. Joined about, I'd say a little over 2 years ago now, and haven't looked back, haven't had any regrets. It's been really great meeting everybody, getting to know people on a more personal level, do one-to-ones. But yeah, the group's been amazing. Great resource. So thank you for having me with that as well.
Awesome. It's good to have you here. So before we dive into all kinds of things, I think I'd really like to learn a little bit about you. I know you're a Long Island guy.
Yeah, born and raised, yeah, Suffolk County. People say the eastern end of Long Island. So yeah, grown up there, not quite as east as I would like to end up. I'd like to be out here, out in the East Hampton area eventually. So working my way out this way.
We'll see if we can get some more deals done and
make that happen. Yeah, that'd be great. But yes, born and raised on Long Island. Played sports all growing up. Stayed here for college. Commuted. But it's really, yeah. This is where I'd like to stay.
I know you told me. So soccer. You play. You're an avid golf player.
Yeah.
And what else?
Actually playing up island today in Oyster Bay. So I got a nice drive ahead of me. Lacrosse, soccer, so I grew up playing lacrosse and soccer my whole life. And then eventually golf became more of a hobby, and then I got a little more serious into that. But I still play soccer every week. When I'm in a 30 and over league. Different towns in Suffolk County all have teams, and we kind of rotate around to different fields. That's awesome. Beach volleyball. So I do some beach volleyball out at Tiana Beach out here, so that's a lot of fun. But yeah, just trying to stay active as much as possible. I'd rather be running around chasing a ball or with my buddies, playing a sport than at the gym, I guess, just to stay active. So
my son's an ocean lifeguard, and you probably heard me mention that before.
Yeah.
One of the most fun nights for me every summer is when in East Hampton, all the ocean lifeguards compete. Usually there are two tournaments. One is town versus village.
Okay.
And it's super competitive, and they have lights and music and all that. And usually every year we get a tournament going where it's like the Jones Beach lifeguards and lifeguards for all up and down the island, and it's remarkably competitive.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Like I'm always embarrassed at how incredibly fit all these guys are.
A lot of people don't know Long Island lifeguards are some of the best in the country. They do like a national lifeguard competition, I guess, every year. And I don't know if it's always in California or wherever they do it, but the lifeguards from, I think, 2 of the beaches in Suffolk County are like the top.
So I actually
3 or 4 teams.
I actually have been to many of those tournaments. Both of my kids are ocean lifeguards, and both of them have competed you're talking about nationals.
Yeah, national, yeah. I think Smith Point Beach was the beach I grew up at. They are they are like the best lifeguard team in the country, which is something you'd overlook growing up a mile from that beach for your whole life.
Yeah, they're usually it's about 55 cities in the United States. LA is huge, so it's hard to beat them. But the Hamptons puts forward a really competitive group, and it's a great 2 or 3 days every. So
awesome.
It rotates around the country. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough. We don't have enough hotel rooms to house everybody.
To accommodate everybody.
Do it in the Hamptons, so I'm always
Yeah, I don't know how they would, how well that approval process would go to host that at the Hamptons anyway.
It's
you got.
But I think we send the most
people
kids.
out. Oh, I'm sure.
It's
I definitely would say. Yeah.
It's a great program, and really encourage it. Starts at age 8, and they call it waterproofing, and so they don't expect every kid to grow up to become a lifeguard, but you're basically my kids are so incredibly competent in the water. It just gives everybody peace of mind. It's a skill for life. Well, one last thing I'll say on it is two things I've always teach my kids. One is if you see one deer, there's going to be
There's
another,
always more, yeah.
and never turn your back on the ocean. So anyway,
Two good policies to live by.
that's not why you're here though. You're from Hartford Funding. Can you
Correct.
tell us a little bit about Hartford?
Yeah, Hartford Funding, they've been around for over 40 years. They're one of the longest standing privately owned banks, I guess, on Long Island, or in Long Island, however people like to say it. I say on Long Island, but yeah, so over 40 years, do all residential funding, whether it's a first-time home buyer, investor, second home, vacation home, whatever it is, we specialize in that. We have sister banks. We're able to do ground-up constructions. We're kind of savant in as far as creative financing and lending, whereas we'll take the full scope of somebody's income, whether it's just a W-2 employee or you have overtime or a side gig, whatever it is. We take the full scope and we give you more than just one loan program. So we say, hey, you can do it this way, that way, or the other way. And we lay everything out. We give an informed result and report to the buyer and say, hey, these are our options. Which one seems best for you? What's your questions? And we kind of lay everything out nice and easy.
I think it's, from my perspective in the group, it's great having you on board because you're not just a mortgage broker. Like many of the deals in the Hamptons are obviously cash deals, and certainly you get to a certain level, it's financing is maybe something that would take place well after the fact, taking money out. But for builders in particular, or construction loans, I think you bring a really nice element to the group because that's a big focus of what we do.
Yeah, we have a lot of builders, a lot of contractors, and it's good. Even if we do renovation loans, that's another one I skip. So somebody wants to buy a house for X amount, but they know it, or before they even step foot in the door to get the keys, they know it's going to need another 150,000 of renovations, new floors, kitchen, whatever it is. We can do the one loan with the purchase of the house with the renovation costs built in. It's another resource. It's something that we're able to do where that makes us one of the more competitive banks, I guess. We have all of these different resources at our disposal.
Beautiful. I wrote down a couple of questions prior to us getting together, and one of them was, can you share a quick example of a buyer who thought they couldn't buy but could?
Yeah. Probably about a year ago now. I want to say last maybe March. So what are we? I don't even know where we are, or May now. So yeah, about a year ago. Woman calls, say, hey, I got rejected by a lender. My credit score is it's below 600. They had no programs for me. So she was having trouble getting approved, and her credit score was, I think it was like 586, 587, somewhere. Ooh. So not great.
Yeah.
But she had some things happen in the past. She missed a couple car payments, whatever it is, a couple years ago. But she's been trying to build up her score. She's got a better job now. She's good income, and nobody's able to approve her because of her previous missed payments on her car. Since we have loan programs where you can have a credit score as low as 560, you're obviously going to have different terms compared to somebody that has a 780 credit score. But we were still able to get her approved with a 587 score. So she got the house. She's been making her payments this whole 9 months, 10 months, and nobody else would even get her approved for it. Now that she got the house and she got the loan and she's made those payments, her score's already gone up a decent amount, and she's already talking about potentially refinancing because we can get her a slightly lower rate. We're going to wait a little bit more just to let rates drop and let her credits continue to build. But within the next year or so, we're going to get her, be able to save her another $300 a month just by getting a little bit of a lower rate. But the whole principle is she wouldn't have been able to have the house the past year if we didn't have those other programs that allowed for a lower credit score.
Cool. Thank you for that. This is a Hamptons focused conversation, generally speaking, but we say Hamptons, it's North Fork, South Fork, Suffolk County, but you're licensed, to my understanding, so you cover all of New York State, and for anybody that's watching this elsewhere in the nation, you're covered in...
Yeah, we're in 33 of the 50 states. So that's the beauty of our job compared to how you have to be a little bit more physically boots on the ground. You can't really sell a house in California living in New York unless you have a team there I could live in New York and do 100 loans in a year, not one of them could be in New York. I could never leave New York, and everything's done from my computer, but we have 33 of the 50 states licensed, which helps because another way to answer that question you previously asked is how we can help somebody that wouldn't have been able to do it in the past. In the Hamptons, we had somebody last October actually, was looking to buy in East Hampton. He had the funds to put down the 20%, but he wanted to lower the payment, whatever it may be. So we were able to take money out of the property he had in Florida to use for a greater down payment here in East Hampton, and his payment for his new Florida payment as well as the payment here in New York was lower than if he just put the 20% down in East Hampton. He was able to leverage everything. So it's just some creative options that we put on the table, whereas other people will just give you the one product and say, hey, this is either take it or leave it.
Cool. So obviously I'm a real estate agent, but as you know, the way I run the group, the way we all work together, I invite my competitors in to speak. Most referral groups don't do that. But I think it's important because as much as, as busy as I am or not, I push business to everybody in the room. We all help each other out. But I know that you have a unique aspect of dealing with other realtors. So, especially around social media and how you can help to promote their businesses. I wonder if you could maybe elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. So I know a lot of lenders will either hire or outsource somebody or bring a third party, either videographer or do some kind of marketing with agents, and they will kind of either split the costs with them or they'll try and compensate and cover those costs. With Hartford Funding, we have a team in-house. So as far as with other agents, like helping to get their listings out or help bring them faster closings or more deals, whatever it is, something I like to do is we have, like I said, the videographer that has a full drone footage, everything. We'll just highlight some of their listings for them and just say, hey, here's the video for you. If you want to tag us, feel free to, but this is just something saying a thank you because, you've sent somebody our way as far as getting a pre-approval or closing. The least we can do is at least highlight one of your listings and help get you that exposure.
I wanted to say thank you to your face. About you recently gave me a referral. I'll just which I thought was interesting. Being an agent in the Hamptons is kind of different than elsewhere in the country. We own a system out here. Not just myself, Brown Harris, but all the competitor firms have a database, and I would argue that between 95 and 98% of the trades that take place in the Hamptons take place on this database called East End Long Island. And and so if you're an Up Island agent, is what we call them, or you're not part of that system, it's pretty costly to be a part of it. You're not getting the exposure that you should be getting, whether you choose Mike Peterson ideally or whoever you choose. Getting a local agent to represent you is the best way to do it. And you had been working with somebody, and maybe
exactly. Yeah, so exactly like you said, Up Island, the way you sell a house and the way you market it is there's a system for it, and it kind of meets a little bit more of the, like I said, the national marketing strategy. Once you hit West Hampton and east of it, it's like you said, it's a completely different animal. You can't do you can, don't get me wrong, but a Saturday 12 to 2 open house isn't going to get the house sold as well as maybe a broker's open house on a Thursday 1 to 3. And if you're not a part, or 12 at the same time, doesn't matter the time of it, but it's the different marketing strategies that go into out here, and like you said, the communal aspect of, even though you're competitors, you use that one central base for all of the properties out here, where if you're from Up Island, like you said, it's a costly product to be a part of. Yeah. So if you get a listing out there and you want to partner up, and I think that's what you guys kind of did, is you kind of exchanged in a way the listing, because it's beneficial for the seller, for the agent that's looking to get it sold, for you, for the buyers. It's better for all parties because it just, how it works. It's a good system, and it helped the listing agent who shared the listing with you a great opportunity to prove to her client that she has resources as well, where, hey, wherever you need to get the house sold, if I can't do it, I could still get it done.
I mean, that particular house is in the neighborhood where there's an HOA that they do not allow for sale signs. So,
So if you're from Up Island, how would you ever know that? You know,
well, they're on MLS. We're on MLS, but really the vast majority of transactions do take place not on MLS. So we have that component as well. So it's so thank you again. But it's I think it's just an important I think if you're looking to sell your home at some point, that's a really you really need. I feel bad to say it, but people have relationships and they want to help their friends.
It's a good community out here. And the other thing is, let's just say you have a client that's out here for a short period of time, a buyer, and they're like, hey, I saw that house pop up. Can you go show it to me? And if you're an Up Island agent, now you're getting in the car driving 2 hours just to go show it. Whereas somebody that's a local could just say, oh yeah, I was just at, no plugs here, but I was just at Town Line Barbecue. Let me go, I can swing by and show you the house in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it may be. Having that physical presence out here. And like you said, it's a communal group where you get a listing, you can get 20, 30, 40 sets of eyes on it just by your network in this niche area. Whereas somebody from Up Island is going to start making the calls. Hey, I have this new listing. You don't know how many other agents that have buyers are going to be able to stop by that specific property just because somebody from Up Island called them. It's not as they don't know the name, and you have a good group out here.
A lot of it's just being timely and being local. I guess going back a little bit, I've got a couple things I wanted to touch on for the audience. What's one thing every first-time buyer should know before they even go to an open house?
One thing I would say to keep in mind is closing costs. A lot of, especially for first-time home buyers, they come to we have that initial phone call. Hey, so-and-so wanted me to give you a call. I'm looking to buy a house. We need to get a pre-approval. What do you need? And I give them the list of documents. They're basic. But then they say, okay, we've been saving up for a down payment. We have this amount saved. We were figuring, let's just use round numbers. Let's just say they have 100,000 saved. It could be 50,000, it could be 10,000, it could be 200, whatever it is. 100,000 saved. They said, yeah, we were thinking about using about 80 or 90 for our down payment and keeping 10,000 for some furniture or anything afterwards. And I say, what about the closing costs? And they say, well, what is that? And I'm like, you may want to you're buying a house for 500,000. The closing costs could be 30 grand. So you have that 90,000 saved or whatever it is, you want to use it, you can't put that all towards the down payment. You have to save, now instead of putting 100,000, you're only putting 60 because you have to save the other 30 for closing costs.
Well, in the Hamptons, we have the CPF, the Community Preservation Fund. So that's a lot of people don't know that. So it's 2.5% up front.
Peconic Bay tax, right? Anything east of Riverhead Town? East of Riverhead Town, yeah, you're right. Like you just said, 2.5% additionally, depending on the price of the home, because I know it goes up, right, after the $1 million or $2 million.
So important thing to know about the Peconic Bay tax, like the best way for me to describe it is, first of all, it's a 2.5% upfront that you pay. Every buyer pays. It's not paid by the seller on the way out. And when people are driving around the Hamptons and you look and you say, oh my God,
look at all this land preservation.
Well, it's not just land preservation. You don't necessarily know there could be a potato field right by the ocean. Like, who would do that? Why would you raise corn there when you could be selling that for? So what 99 times out of 100 is the fund has purchased that land, they've retired it so that you can have beautiful views, beautiful vistas. It actually, people wonder why the prices never really go down out here is because everybody's competing against the CPF in a way, because anytime a nice piece of land comes available and they buy houses from time to time that, and they also do it to connect neighborhoods so that animals can actually move back and forth. There's been a huge resurgence. We have eagles for the first time in 100+ years in East Hampton now suddenly.
Whales have been coming out. The Montauk, well, they've been doing that for years, but now they're definitely more visible. But yeah, that goes to that. Something the buyers should keep in mind is anything east of Riverhead Township, you're going to have that Peconic Bay tax built into your closing costs.
I'm going to get a picture in here of my son on his surfboard while he's being a lifeguard with a whale breaching about 5 feet away from him.
Yeah, he'll have to send me that too.
It's all good. So I guess want to just wrap it up and just say, so thank you for coming in here today. And
thanks for having me. It's great.
If people want to find you, please let our audience know.
Yeah. You can reach out to me. My name is, again, Dan Cowan with Hartford Funding. On Instagram, it's The Mortgage Mecca. And yeah, look forward to answering any questions you may have and working with as many of you as possible. So thanks again for having me, Mike. This has been an absolute pleasure, and looking forward to continue to do great work together.
Great stuff. So thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Mic Hamptons podcast. This is powered by HNG, the Hamptons Networking Group, and a special shout out to Flying Point Studios here in Southampton where we film. These guys are the best social media group I've ever experienced.
Yeah, this has been awesome. So yeah, thank you to the team.
All good stuff. And so if you ever need anybody to help you out in any way, obviously we're connected with lots of folks. Please check us out online. And this is where deals get done. So thank you for tuning in, and keep in mind, I know a guy. See you next time. Hey, this is Michael. Thanks for listening to Mic Hamptons, powered by the Hamptons Networking Group, where the right people make the right things happen. If you're planning anything in the Hamptons, buying, selling, building, hosting, or investing, don't do it alone. Tap into our network of vetted, top-tier service providers who get things done at the highest level. And if real estate is part of your plan, I bring deep knowledge, strong network, and a track record of getting deals done the right way. Reach out anytime. We'll see you on the next one. You can call, text, or DM me right now, or visit my website to get connected. I work with a tight network, and the best deals go to the people who move first. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next deal. Keep making moves.